Over the course of Goku's story, he has achieved many techniques and transformations. Each of these new abilities have made Goku a stronger and more resourceful fighter who can overcome nearly any obstacle he comes across. However, Goku's newest and perhaps greatest ability is his newest form known as Ultra Instinct. In Ultra Instinct, Goku's power greatly increases as he breaks through his limits and taps into his full potential. However, even more importantly, the form allows Goku to utilize the Ultra Instinct ability, which the form is named after, allowing his body to act instantly in battle without the need for thought. And with this ability, Goku has far exceeded his bounds until he is not only dealing damage to, but keeping up with Jiren at close to his full power. But with Goku looking to master Ultra Instinct in the coming episodes and gain its full effects, one question is, should Goku's Ultra Instinct be temporary? Now, although Dragon Ball Super will be concluding soon, it's unlikely that Goku's story will come to an end, as Dragon Ball will likely continue with further films, such as the Origin of Saiyan Power film, or even new series in the future. As a result, we'll likely see Goku again as he goes on the next step of his journey of greater power. However, with Ultra Instinct, Goku's abilities have already reached a level which places him above nearly all of existence, as Ultra Instinct is an ability which even the gods of destruction have a tough time with, and the power increase that came with Goku's transformation has perhaps allowed him to surpass even a number of the gods of destruction, as Jiren's power is greater than his own god of destruction Belmod, and if Goku surpasses Jiren, then he'll be even stronger as well. So with this in mind, placing Goku's power into perspective, would he be too overpowered with this ability? After all, if Goku is not only stronger than the gods of destruction, but has an ability to dodge their attacks and then hit them without thinking in his mastered Ultra Instinct form, that places him on a level that very few could reach or be above. At that stage, only the highest gods, the angels, the Grand Priest, and Zeno would be above Goku to our knowledge. So that really takes away a lot of tension if Goku remains the main character in future stories, but has to be challenged by some sort of threat. At that point, either the highest divine beings would have to start having problems with Goku and his friends, or Dragon Ball would likely have to introduce new fighters who also so happen to be stronger than the gods of destruction and possibly the angels. And although we've seen lower gods surpassed a number of times throughout the franchise, taking the now highest gods, which Dragon Ball Super spent much of its duration building up and explaining how powerful they were, and then having a bunch of new characters show up who are all stronger than them would be ridiculous, especially if the Z fighters need to be boosted in strength as they were against Raditz, the androids, and so on. Do we really need to see half the Z fighters be more powerful than the gods of destruction? Do we really need to see God of Destruction level Krillin? Another option, which would be far less exciting, would be for Goku to simply hold back drastically in every fight moving forward. Just as we saw in GT and much of the Universe Survival arc, Goku would hold back in his base and use his lower Super Saiyan forms against every enemy. Some new enemy will come along and seem really strong and give Goku a tough time in these weaker forms, but Goku will still have several other forms on top of that. And we, the audience, who have paid attention for the several series now, will know that Goku could simply end this in an instant if he went full power. And that's why this sort of forced dramatic tension never works in Dragon Ball. We knew in GT that Goku could just defeat Lud, Mushi Muchi, the Sigma Force, and Rildo in an instant because GT comes after Z, and we know that Goku has these forms. We know how powerful our main character and his friends are, and we know that if it wasn't for the plot and for poor writing, they could instantly destroy their enemies who only pose a threat to their lower forms. And let's say that they continue to pull the whole movie formula in the future, and the final boss is just as strong as Goku, and he even has Ultra Instinct on top of it. Wouldn't that also diminish the impressiveness of the ability? Furthermore, how do you even showcase a fight between 2 or more characters who have Ultra Instinct? If Goku and this hypothetical enemy both have the ability to dodge and attack without thinking, then how do they hit one another with an attack? Would the 2 of them dodge every single attack the other throws out? Would they constantly clash fists and match one another's blows without ever landing a hit? Would they simply keep this up, speed blitzing one another and no shots being landed until one of them runs out of stamina and just gets beaten down? Because if that's the future of Goku's fights, it sounds incredibly boring. And if it becomes a simple matter of who's faster or stronger beyond Ultra Instinct, then that only further devalues the ability. And this is why many of these issues could be solved if Goku's Ultra Instinct is actually temporary. I mean, think about how Goku went about attaining this ability. He was pushed to his absolute limits, caught up in a virtual white hole caused by the implosion of his spirit bomb, and his resistance against that force awakened this power. In all the subsequent times he used this power, he was cornered, pushed against a wall, and at the very brink. Yet this power awakened and allowed Goku to break through his limitations. Now, although Goku is seeming to master it against Jiren, this is still under extreme duress, in the most dire of circumstances, with his universe's existence on the line. So it could be that his body is allowing him to temporarily harness the full power of this ability, but come the end of this match, after Universe 7 has won, it may be something that he cannot activate at will. And some precedent for this is that every time Goku has used the ability after his first transformation against Jiren, the ability has needed stronger and stronger opposition to activate, as Goku needed to be threatened by Kefla, who is more powerful than his spirit bomb, and then finally Goku needed to be right on the edge of elimination against Jiren, who is nearing his full power. As such, if this form still required an even greater opposing force after Goku has quote-unquote mastered it, this could mean that Goku won't be able to use the ability again until he encounters an opponent even stronger than Jiren, who forces it out of him. In this case, if Goku actually cannot use the form, and perhaps doesn't know why, real tension could exist, and we wouldn't know in the back of our minds that Goku can just win if he really tries. And another concept that writers can utilize is something introduced after the end of the Tournament of Destroyers arc. This concept appeared after Goku first used his Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken x10 against Hit, in which Goku's body was actually having problems using his ki properly because of how he pushed it with this technique. However, this problem never came up again, but I think this would be a good way out of this issue of Goku being overpowered, and could lead to some real tension and an interesting change of dynamic if the most powerful fighter can't actually access his prior levels of power. Now, this storytelling element has been used in other series in the past, such as Yu Yu Hakusho with Mazaku Yusuke, and I think it could work well here too, as it would allow Goku to have this power-up, perhaps even surpassing the gods, but not keep the boost so that he still has some room to grow, and can reattain this ultimate ability again in the future. And what this would also really do is make this form and ability even more special, because if Goku attains the form now and actually masters it to where he could use it on a whim after 20 minutes, this makes the form feel less special and ultimate than something that Goku really needs to work for beyond a single 48-minute battle. Even Super Saiyan, Goku's first non-Ozaru transformation, required training to use at will, and then extensive training beyond that to master. And forms like Super Saiyan 2, 3, God, and Blue arguably haven't even been mastered yet either. But if Ultra Instinct is a form Goku only briefly attains, allowing him a real taste of this level of power, and then he has to train intensely, and perhaps even use new methods of training to reach it again, that would make Ultra Instinct feel that much more like an ultimate state, and could finally, and hopefully, be the last transformation that Goku will ever need. Fingers crossed. So ultimately, it all comes down to how Goku will master the form. Will it become a transformation Goku will be able to tap into whenever he chooses, or will it be a temporary boost which Goku will seek to attain again in the future? Or perhaps, will this be something that Goku absorbs within himself, no longer needing a form to utilize the ability, much like how Super Saiyan God was originally portrayed? All of this waits to be seen, but I'm looking forward to seeing how Ultra Instinct is utilized in the future of the Dragon Ball franchise, and long after Dragon Ball Super has come to an end.
Yeah, and you better subscribe, enable those damn notifications.